Hi, this is Cory McCarthy, and welcome to a new episode of Fit, Formidable, and Fantastic. That's right, go F yourself, and happy Meatless Monday. In this episode, I want to address what I consider 10 superfoods that vegans can eat that are very appropriate for bodybuilding, for fitness in general, and for building strength, building muscle. Now, before I jump into this, I don't want anyone to think this is a complete list. This is just 10. You could say 10 extracted examples of superfoods that I think are very important. There are a lot that didn't make the list, so don't feel bad if something of yours that you really enjoy eating, that you think is actually a great addition to a bodybuilding diet as a vegan, is not on this list. So, bear with me as I go down this list, as there is quite a bit, and I'm going to be going off of a bulleted list here. So, first of all, the first one I'd like to discuss is bananas. In one large banana, there's about 1.5 grams of protein and a lot of quality carbohydrates, especially in a riper banana with the brown spots. It's a lot more on the glucose side of the carbohydrates. So it's actually quite a good post-workout carb source if you wanted to use it in place of dextrose, for instance. Bananas are also extremely rich in potassium, vitamin B6, vitamin C, and magnesium. Another superfood are beans, and that's in general, you know, whether it be black beans, kidney, whatever you enjoy. But 1 cup of cooked beans contains roughly 14.5 grams of protein, plus a lot of quality carbohydrates. Beans are also very rich in vitamin B6, potassium, zinc, calcium, iron, and magnesium. Another quality food, and actually one of my personal favorites, is a staple in every one of my diets, whether I'm bulking or cutting, is broccoli. 1 cup of broccoli contains just over 2.5 grams of protein. It's also a very good source of dietary fiber. Broccoli is also very rich in vitamin C, folate, calcium, B6, manganese, potassium, and beta-carotene. Furthermore, broccoli contains a component called DIM, D-I-M, and that's potentially anti-carcinogenic. It also can help metabolize harmful estrogens in the body, like the xenoestrogens you can get from the environment and bad plastics and what have you. It can actually metabolize those into the less harmful forms, like a phytoestrogen, less harmful forms. It also, in very small amounts, has been shown to exhibit an anti-aromatase effect, which is like an anti-estrogen conversion effect in the body. So in other words, anti-aromatase basically is the prevention of testosterone converting to estrogen. So basically, in my opinion, broccoli is like a prime example of a super bodybuilding food for vegans. Another food that you can consider is carrots. 1 cup of carrots contains just over 1 gram of protein, so it's not very protein dense, but it has very quality carbohydrates. It's extremely high in vitamin A. It's very good for your eyesight. It also contains a good amount of vitamin C and potassium. And you'll see a recurring theme here of vitamin C in a lot of these. Vitamin C is extremely important for maintaining nitric oxide levels. It can actually help prevent the breakdown of NO. So I often will take vitamin C before I work out to help keep my NO levels high throughout my workout. Basically, nitric oxide will facilitate the pump. So you can, help keep that nutrient blood flow high throughout the day with better nitric oxide levels as well. So vitamin C is very important for bodybuilders, at least in that regard, and so much more. Not even getting into the antioxidant and effects like they can help with the immune system as well. Oatmeal is another one. 1 cup of cooked oatmeal contains just over 6 grams of protein, and it's also full of very quality carbohydrates. It's also very rich in iron, manganese, vitamin E, copper, folate, and zinc. Oatmeal is actually a bit of a bodybuilding standard for a lot of lifters when they're trying to bulk. It's a carbohydrate of choice, especially in breakfasts. Sweet potatoes is another superfood, and because it's very nutrient dense. 1 cup of sweet potatoes contains just over 2 grams of protein, so it isn't really protein dense. but it's a very, very, very quality source of carbohydrates, and it's very similar to ripe bananas if very well cooked. So the longer you cook it, the better the better the glucose ratio will be. Sweet potatoes are also extremely rich in vitamin A, but also C, B6, with some iron and calcium. Not a high amount, but some in there. Another one, again, another personal favorite of mine is tofu, which is a soy product. Just 3 ounces of extra firm tofu contains about 9 grams of protein, so it's a substantial protein source. And it has little to no carbohydrates. In fact, the tofu that I use a Wildwood extra firm, contains no carbohydrates because the 1 gram of carb that's in the product is actually a fibrous carb. So I don't count it towards my carb total for the day. So it's actually a really good ketogenic food or for a lower carb diet. It also contains some quality dietary fats, and so for this reason it's a perfect meat replacement for vegans who can actually eat soy if they don't have any kind of allergies and what have you. Beyond that, tofu is very rich in iron and calcium. Moving forward, we're going to get into some fattier fare here. For instance, avocados. Now, 1 cup of avocado contains about 3 grams of protein with a lot of quality fats. It's actually not too high in carbohydrates because a lot of it is fibrous, but it's very high in fat. So again, it's a very good ketogenic food for vegans. Avocados are also very rich in vitamin C, vitamin A, with iron and calcium in there as well. Now, getting into some seeds here, because what list would be complete without some awesome vegan seeds? Chia seeds. Actually, I was going to say flax as a good omega-3 source, but chia seeds are a little higher in protein, so I actually had them make the list over flax seeds. 1 ounce of chia seeds contains about 4 grams of protein, as opposed to flax, which is about around 1. It's very high in quality fats, and including the omega-3s I just mentioned a moment ago. It's also very rich in calcium. And finally, if you want to round out with a little more, some more seeds in your diet, pumpkin seeds. 1 ounce of pumpkin seeds, and I actually personally use pumpkin seeds, especially in my keto diet. 1 ounce of pumpkin seeds contains about 7 grams of protein, and it's also got very high quality fats. And furthermore, pumpkin seeds are very rich in iron and contain some vitamin A, some C, and some calcium. So there you go. That's just 10. That's like an extract. It's not really a full, complete list. I would be spending all day here if I was doing a full list with you. But that's sort of an extract. It's 10 foods that I think are very noteworthy if you are a vegan and you are interested in bodybuilding or strength and athletics. I think these foods are foods you should consider, you know, considering your macros and your calorie requirements as well. Don't just eat them randomly. Of course, you've got to keep all that in mind. So this is why I mentioned the fats and the carbohydrates, because you want to take this into account depending on how you're setting your diet up. So considering your macros, considering your calorie requirements, those foods I think are extremely good candidates for a bodybuilding or strength-based diet or athletic diet for a vegan. You know, so if you have any questions or want me to clarify anything here, please drop them below. Otherwise, I will see you guys on Friday for the regularly scheduled episode. So until then, stay fit, stay formidable, and stay fantastic. I will see you around.